The rusted gates groaned as they swung open, their hinges screaming in protest against the encroaching darkness. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay and a chilling silence that felt like a suffocating blanket. The old, abandoned hospital stood before them, a skeletal monument to a forgotten past. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared back, reflecting the approaching storm clouds. Vines, thick and gnarled, clawed their way up the cracked, crumbling walls, their tendrils weaving into a grotesque tapestry of death. The trespassers, a group of thrill-seeking teenagers, felt a prickle of unease, but adrenaline fueled their audacity. They pushed past the crumbling facade, entering a world of dust-laden shadows and the pungent smell of antiseptic, long gone stale. The silence was almost deafening, broken only by the rhythmic drip of water somewhere in the depths of the building. They ventured into the echoing corridors, their footsteps sending shivers down their spines. Doors hung open, revealing dilapidated rooms of forgotten operating theater, with its metal table stained a sickly brown and nursery, its cribs empty, but for the dust that coated everything like a shroud. As they progressed deeper, the temperature dropped, and a palpable sense of dread settled upon them. In a dimly lit room, they found a collection of medical records, their yellowed pages filled with cryptic notes and unsettling sketches. One of them, a young woman, gasped as she saw a drawing of a grotesque, mutated creature, its eyes burning with an unnatural fire. The atmosphere turned oppressive. The air grew thick with a feeling of being watched, of something lurking in the shadows. One of the boys, emboldened by bravado, started humming a tune, but the sound died in his throat as he saw a faint flicker of movement in the darkness at the end of the corridor. Panic gripped them. They sprinted, their hearts pounding like war drums, their breaths ragged and panicked. They burst into a large, empty ward, its rows of beds covered in white sheets that seemed to pulse with an unseen life. As they gasped for breath, they realized they were trapped. The doors had slammed shut. The windows, sealed shut, only served to enhance the growing claustrophobia. They huddled together, whispers of fear replacing their earlier bravado. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl echoed through the room, sending chills down their spines. Their eyes darted around, searching for the source. Their worst fears were realized when a massive shadow-like form, its body a twisted mockery of humanity, emerged from the darkness. The creature, driven by a hunger that had festered for decades, lunged. The screams of the teenagers were cut short, their cries absorbed by the oppressive silence that returned. As the storm raged outside, the hospital stood silent, the air thick with the stench of death and decay. The only sign of the trespassers was a single, blood-stained shoe lying forgotten on the floor. The abandoned hospital remained, a silent testament to a forgotten tragedy, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets best kept hidden. The echoes of their screams lingered in the halls, a mournful song that would only be answered by the whispers of the wind. The storm raged for days, each clap of thunder a hammer blow against the hospital's crumbling facade. Inside, the silence was broken only by the rhythmic drip of water and the occasional creak of the building settling under its own weight. The creature, sated for now, drifted back into the shadows, its form a chilling silhouette against the moonlight filtering through the grimy windows. Days turned into weeks, the abandoned hospital becoming a silent tomb, the scent of decay mingling with the faint metallic tang of blood. A lone figure, drawn by an unexplainable pull, found their way to the rusted gates. A weathered journalist, driven by a morbid fascination and a gnawing feeling that the hospital held a story too important to ignore. He had heard whispers, rumors of disappearances, of strange occurrences at the edge of town. He pushed open the rusted gates, the noise echoing through the silence. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of death and an unsettling sense of anticipation. The journalist pressed on, his hand instinctively reaching for the rusted revolver he carried, a small comfort in the face of the unknown. He navigated the labyrinthine corridors, his flashlight beam illuminating dust motes dancing in the shafts of moonlight. He found the operating theater, its metal table still stained a sickly brown, the faint stench of formaldehyde clinging to the air. He found the nursery, the cribs empty, but for the dust that coated everything like a shroud. He found the room with the medical records, the unsettling sketches, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within these walls. He reached the ward where the screams had echoed, where the shadow-like creature had made its gruesome feast. But he found nothing. The bloodstains were gone, the air still. The only sign of the tragedy was a single, blood-stained shoe lying forgotten on the floor. He felt a cold dread creep up his spine. He searched, his heart pounding in his chest, his mind racing with questions. Where had the bodies gone? Where had the creature gone? And what was the terrible secret this hospital held? His flashlight beam caught something glinting in the corner of the room. He approached cautiously, his hand tightening on the revolver. It was a small silver locket, engraved with a single word: hope. He picked it up, the metal cold against his palm. He felt a surge of fear, a realization that the creature was not the only thing to be feared. Something else had been here, something that had tried to warn the teenagers, something that had tried to offer them a glimmer of hope. He looked around, his eyes searching for any sign, any clue to what had happened here. He felt a chill run down his spine as he noticed a faint, almost invisible mark on the floor, barely visible beneath the layer of dust. It was a single, perfect circle drawn in charcoal, a strange symbol that he had never seen before. He felt a wave of nausea, a feeling of dread so profound that it was almost physical. He knew that he had stumbled upon something much bigger than he could have ever imagined. Something ancient, something terrifying, something that could not be contained. He knew that he had to leave, to get as far away as possible. But he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The silence seemed to press in on him, suffocating him with its weight. He turned and ran, his footsteps echoing through the deserted corridors. He ran until he reached the rusted gates. He pushed them open, gasping for breath, his heart hammering in his chest. He looked back at the hospital, its silhouette stark against the darkening sky. He knew that he would never forget what he had seen, what he had felt. He knew that the hospital held a secret, a terrible, terrifying secret that would forever haunt him. He knew that he would never be able to escape the shadows that had followed him out of that place. The journalist left, his story never to be told. The hospital stood silent, its secrets buried deep within its crumbling walls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its clutches. The shadow of the creature lingered, a silent reminder that sometimes the worst things are not the ones we can see. Thanks for watching the story. Like and subscribe to the channel. What stories do you want to see? Write it in the comments. Good luck.